Indestructiboy, Wally DM, a bunch of other DMs were showing off their ultimate DM's kit. The ultimate kit for Dungeons and Dragons, and I was very impressed with the stuff that they showed off. It was all very neatly organized, very minimalist, and very easily carried around. I was very impressed. What's my Dungeon Master kit like? Well, it's not quite as minimalist and organized as all that. Usually I got my giant duffel bag from Kinney Drugs, and I got my Stanley tool container, and I usually have some sort of Chessex mat. This is my small little Chessex map here. This is the battle map. I love the Chessex maps. They're very good. Now, sometimes I don't have all of this stuff. For example, when I took my only vacation as an adult, and I went to Mace that one year in 2019, yeah, I only had miniatures and dice and stuff that I fit into this small little container, and I had a folder with the adventure stuff and all the paperwork and whatnot for the dungeon crawl I was doing. But I'm going to be very honest with you. Normally, this is the minimum of what I carry to my games. So I don't have some small little case. I'm literally weighed down by the amount of stuff that I have. So yeah, usually a Chessex map. Sometimes if I'm doing a dungeon crawl, obviously I will do dungeon tiles. Because if you're doing a dungeon crawl, you know exactly where the people are going to be. Dungeon tiles are cool. However, I usually do a mixed bag, and I usually keep the Chessex mat just in case. If I'm playing a kind of a less dungeon crawlier game, I always want the option just to have a generic map that I can put stuff on and whatnot. And usually the Chessex map, if I'm going to have to walk to my location, which, because I live in New Hampshire, I'm generally going to have to walk because there's no parking in this state. Generally, I will use the little map thing of some sort. Either this or one of the Pathfinder maps that you can just kind of roll up. And yeah, and then I have the wet erase things that goes with that. I have those both in the bag and here. The Expo vis-a-vis things, the black, that is the stuff you want to use on this. I have found that other brands just end up staining this. However, vis-a-vis black, as long as you don't leave it overnight, and as long as you clean it off, it's not going to stain this. All my mats are pretty much pristine. So all the other people like using fancy colors on your maps, I'm sorry, eventually it's going to stain. So really like these. Yeah, well, let's do the miniatures last. So I have my bag here. So you might assume that the paper towels are for cleaning off the dry erase, wet erase map. And that's not true. I keep this in here, so when I kill all the PCs, the players have something they can use to dry their tears as they see their beloved character that they invested so much time in just be completely destroyed by my nefarious DMing style. Yeah. I generally do still love the random item tables and Dungeon Master's Guide, so I generally keep that with me. In addition, you know, I keep the 3 books with me, basically. The Monster Manual, just in case I need a monster if they venture someplace where I didn't assume they were going to go. Sometimes I leave that at home if it's a dungeon crawl and I know exactly what's going to be the environment. The Player's Handbook, basically so I can just, you know, give this to one player who wants to kind of flip through it, because that sometimes happens. Oh, my very well-organized stack of papers here. This is the campaign that I'm running, the Wand of Wonder effects from 3.5, a bunch of random stuff here. This is from like 2 different games. 3 different games. Oh, and look at this! Why, what's this? It's the pamphlet of unusual and useless magical items. This is a lovely little pamphlet that I made. That's only 8 pages long, but boy, you'd be amazed how much you can fit into merely 6 pages of magical items. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of cool stuff in here. It's a very interesting little bit of stuff. And once you know it, if you join the YouTube membership this month, if you join for 99 cents, this is just one of the PDFs that you can get if you join the YouTube membership. So that link is right on the side of this YouTube page. And yeah, I'm actually really proud of this dumb little thing. This is one of the first PDFs that I ever made. And yeah, it's really fun. So you can check that out. Just become a member. It's all you need to do. What do we got here? Oh yeah, we have other things like the Goodberry Eldritch Aberration custom monster that I made. D100 charts. Oh, I love D100 charts. Oh, and the custom-made bric-a-brac D100 chart that I made myself, which is a lot of fun. And oh yeah, that's also one of the little things you can get for free if you get a 99-cent a month channel membership here. Amazing. Yeah, I just love all these random item stuff. I do a lot of improv in my game, and I base it solely kind of on all this stuff that comes up. Random rooms, and then another dungeon crawl I was doing. Just your old standard DM screen here. Nothing fancy. This does have some of the more common issues here in terms of like stuff that you'll need to remember for games and whatnot, but it's not the greatest. I'm gonna upgrade at some point, but yeah, I do like using a DM screen just to hide the miniatures that I'm gonna have out, just so they don't get things. More Expo vis-a-vis wet erase markers. Some random pens. Not pens. Random pencils. Got a bunch of random pencils. I've got some little pads of paper here. So if anybody needs a pencil or a pad of paper, I can just give it to them. I got a bunch of bandanas in here. You might be wondering, what's up with the bandanas? I like to look stylish as I DM my games. No. The bandanas are if I have rooms set up in the dungeon crawl, I can put the bandana over the room so players cannot see what's in the room that they're going to wander into next. So that's just the easiest system that I've found so far. I'm sure I could do it a much fancier way, but the bandanas work okay in a pinch. And I also have 3 sets of dice in case people don't have dice to use. I really like the Chessex simple colored dice. I like dice where it's just incredibly easy to see what the numbers are. I mean, just yellow, black, white, black, and then orange, black. I love that because you can just look at it, you immediately know what it is. So yeah, that's generally going to be the general loadout. Now also, I will also have like smaller little cases like this. If there's a larger miniature that I want to include, I will also put that in this bag as well. Right-o. And finally, we have the Stanley Toolbit case. This is the old school one. I'm not sure. I think you can find these still. Yeah. Some of the new ones aren't as nice, but this is an older one. As you can see, I did some small amount of customization on this. There's some carpet padding here that I glued in to various little spots, so the more delicate little miniatures I can put in there. Yeah, so for the thing that I came on, I did use the bed mimic for one of my latest games that I ran. The bed mimic, if you want to look up the... I did a couple videos where I crafted mimics for D&D. The bed mimic is always a big hit. So, there's the original miniature, and then my sculpted one. And, yeah, this one had like a little bed thing, so... a bunch of custom stuff. This is a Lady Isabella mold on top of a Hearst Arts mold. This is all custom stuff. Really enjoy that. And another one where there's a little bit of Lady Isabella sculpted stuff on top of just a regular bed, just to make it a little bit different. Yeah. The whole Dreamblade miniatures. I love using these things, because there's Dreamblade miniatures that look all sorts of wonky. And so I can use this for a multitude of purposes in my game. That's always fun. Oh, the painted little resin miniatures are in this section. There's some Reaper Bone stuff in there as well, but yeah, just all the little miniatures that I would be using. And I switch out the miniatures depending on what's going on in the game. Light thing here, which I can put into the old, which you can't really see because it's too bright, but yeah, this kind of lights up the base a little bit. A lot of fun. Ooh, some more Hearst art stuff. I like all the different stuff you can do with Hearst art stuff, with the little molds and stuff, so I made a couple different little skeleton platform things with a crystal skull and then an intentionally damaged other one. And a Mage Knight miniature, which was reed-based. That's an angry tree guy. Normally I have my location dice, but I don't know where the heck that went. So, yeah. The only special dice I have here is my D1000 percentile dice. That is mostly used in Warhammer Fantasy role-playing, but you can use it in other things too. Then just a couple of standard D&D sets with 2 D20s. I got my mechanical pencil. Really like the mechanical pencil, frankly. It's less of a pain to deal with in terms of sharpening and whatnot, so I don't have to carry around a sharpener. You know, if you can find a good deal on the drafting pencils, you know, made in Japan, this is a heck of a nice pencil. 0.7 millimeter lead, and yeah, find these on sale, stock up, and that way they'll last you for years and years and years. And I got a couple lead refills in there just in case. So yeah, I mean, this is it. This is the system that I use for carrying around miniatures. As you'll note, because I'm playing with strangers, I don't know what character they're trying to play, so I try to keep... If you'll notice, a lot of these are PC-looking character miniatures. So I put in a lot of those so I can possibly find a miniature that will match up with what they want in the game. So yeah, that is my setup. And obviously, not as organized or as nice looking as other people's setups, but I mean, if you use a heck of a lot of terrain and stuff in your games like I do, this is generally what I'm going to end up using. I hope you found this interesting as I talked about a bunch of stuff that I lug to D&D games. As always, if you have any questions, leave them below. Yeah. So once again, channel memberships are up. And it's very important. If you want to support this channel, this is the month to do so. The month of September. If you want to support the channel, just pledge at the 99 cents level. You get a bunch of cool PDFs. And more importantly, you're going to be helping me greatly in continuing this channel. It means a lot. And, yeah. Please support the channel.